Hi folks, Mike at 3D Technologies, back with you today, and we're going to be talking about 3D printing a chess set. And I've been looking around for a good chess set, and there's a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of good ones out there. But finding one that was kind of worthy of me trying to 3D print it, it wasn't that. It took a while to find a set that I wanted to 3D print, and I came across one in CG Trader, which is probably my favorite place to look for files. And I'm going to be talking today about the chess set that I 3D printed and some of the things that I learned along the way as I was doing it, including things like painting and processing the prints. Now, this here is a pawn that I've 3D printed for that chess set. As you can see, it's got really good details on it, and I've painted it, and I've also added the cushion down the bottom here. And this pawn here is basically a Egyptian guard. A lot of glare from the light, but yeah, over here you can maybe see it better. Yeah, and anyways, so this is a pawn piece, and this is the rook. You can see there's a lot of intricate writings on there. This is a lighter color, the gold side. This is the knight, and yeah, they came out really well. I 3D printed them on a resin printer, my Epex E10, and I love that machine. It does a great job. Here's a bishop. And here's the king piece. A lot of detail on these, really beautiful models, very well done, and it's not that expensive to buy. I think I paid like 25 bucks for it. There's a queen, and they print it so well on the Epex E10. Uh, yeah, so and then so that's really all the pieces for the light side. What I really liked about this chess set is that the dark side has well, different pieces. For example, this here is the rook, and it is the coolest looking rook. They're all undead. They're all undead pieces. Uh, this is a pawn, and I chose a glossy black color that really looks good, but it's kind of a pain to work with, and we'll get into that later. This is an undead knight. Uh, this, yeah, okay, yeah. This is a bishop. Have in the wrong places. The undead bishop. Right. This is the queen. The undead queen. And finally, we have the undead king. Yeah. Lots of detail, very pretty, well, very cool looking pieces to 3D print. And they printed. I printed all the pawns in one go on EPEX D10, and then I printed all the bigger pieces in one go, and they fit. Um, and I had some uh, issues with the way that the resin printing works. Like, for example, but despite the issues, it was so worth it. It was a lot of work to get these looking good, but um, it, you know, there were some issues, and I'm going to talk to you about them. One of the issues is that when they print these, they print with supports, and the models are hanging from the build plate, and the build plate is here, and then the supports are hanging and attaching themselves to the model on the bottom here. And what that does is it creates a unlevel bottom on this thing. And when you pull the supports off, it's not smooth, even bottom. Um, it's kind of irregular shape, and when you put it down, it doesn't stand upright because of all the bumps on the bottom. So I actually put all of these pieces to my grinder, and I've got a grinder in the garage, a grinding wheel, and I ground them all down and smoothened them out. Well, I didn't realize that it was going to be so messy when I did it, and also all that resin floating around in the air is not good for you. So I learned to put on glasses when I was doing it, safety glasses, and to put on a mask. And then you got to clean up the mess that it makes because you don't want that stuff laying around. Um, so once you do that, and then it was time to paint. So I had taken the supports off of, and there wasn't too much cleaning up involved. Once you took the support off, the supports come off really well, and some little stubs and bumps, and you can get most of them off with your hands. And yeah, they ended up looking really nice. Um, and Then it was time to paint. So I've been messing around with paints for a while now, and trying to find something that works. And not everything works well on plastic, on resin prints. The paints that I found that work really well are the Krylon Fusion paints. And, I had this gold color, metallic gold it's called, and it was so beautiful. And so I ordered a whole box of them after I went through the first bottle. And when I got it, it didn't look, it looked different. When I painted, it looked different than the one I originally had. The one I originally had, I thought looked better, but this is all I had, and I couldn't really get any more at the time because of the shortage, supply shortage, and I think Krylon's factory caught on fire, so there was a additional shortage of this particular brand. But the gold paint, it doesn't look as shiny as the previous can that I bought, but it still looks pretty good. It still looks good enough to use. I like it, and that's the color I chose. Again, it looks really well, and it's holding up well. Not chipping, and it's got a really nice gold sheen to it a little bit. Some of the pieces look better than the others for some reason. The paint just goes well, especially the night here. Um, so yeah, and then the dark side that I painted with the Fusion Gloss Black paint. And Again, it looks great. One kit, and we'll paint all of these. I painted them quite a few times all around. And and we'll do the whole side, and that really, I mean, turned out really cool. This gloss really is glossy. And I think it goes really well with the whole dark theme of undead, uh, and it works really well. But the thing with glossy paints is that they stay tacky. Um, uh, Unlike the other paint, this one is a little sticky, just a little bit. And when it takes a lot longer to dry, and if you start handling it before it dries, the paint will start to rub off. At this point, it's not rubbing off. It's pretty dry, and it's not coming off on my fingers. And when I was working with it, it was pretty messy. You know, had a lot of uh, painted fingers, if you will. But it's good now. And you know, once I painted them again, I went through like several coats from different angles to make sure that I got everything. And the resins color that I printed them in, it really doesn't matter. Like those gold ones I printed in were in a black resin, but you would never tell. And these I printed in, I ran out of the black resin, so I used again, Epex's hard resin, black, and this one was clear. And this was a transparent print, and I painted it black and black. So it doesn't really matter which color, but the Epax resin is pretty good resin. It's durable. I dropped these a couple times and didn't break. Uh, and uh, and with this paint, it looks really sharp. But I gotta tell you, it's still tacky a little bit, and it just takes forever for this thing to dry. And that's annoying when you're working with it because you'll get it on your fingers. I actually get it on my board, and these pieces are pretty good sized pieces. And I don't have a chess board that's really big enough for these. I have a nice chessboard, but it's too small. Like the pieces almost touch each other when they're sitting next to each other. Um, and so I got to get a bigger board for these pieces. The other thing that I had to do once I had it all painted was to put the felt on the bottom. And you know, it's got kind of colors that kind of match the felt, and you know, and this one's got the black felt on the bottom, and with the sanding, the grinding that I did on the bottom of these, and the felt, it really makes it sit level. It sits well. It doesn't rock or wobble like it did before I ground them down, and the felt additionally helps with that. So they sit well. Um, Here are some of the examples that of the felts that I picked up at Joanne Fabric. Boy, I tell you, it was that I look out of place in that in that store. Had all these grandmas and housewives looking at me like, "What the hell is he doing here?" But yeah, so I cut them out with tiny little scissors that I picked up at the place. I knew the scissors I had weren't going to do the job well, so I got these tiny little scissors, and fingers barely fit in it. But you need something like this to cut this out accurately. And then once you cut it out, you go around and you clip off the uh, parts that are protruding out to get a nice finish on it. But this stuff here, it's a felt, and it's got the glue on the back. It's like a sticker. It comes off. You peel it off, and it's got the glue, and then you just stick it on. So it's really convenient, and I used this much of it for the light side, and then the dark side here, and it worked out well. They're like cheap. They're like $2 or something to pick up at the Joanne Fabrics is where I picked it up. But these scissors were not cheap. These are Fisker scissors, and they're good scissors, but they weren't cheap. They were like $17 or something like that. Uh, they worked well. Um, Probably cut down my time and did a better job. But I'll see if I can get this set up so you guys can see it uh, the way it is. So, yeah, there you go. Got the dark side. Dark side looks really sharp, and so does the light side. You know, they both look really cool, and I am looking forward to actually playing chess with these. I like playing chess. I've played chess since I was a kid. My grandma taught me how to play chess, and my dad was really good at it. And so I still play chess with friends once in a while, and I've always wanted a set that that would really stand out. That was something that I really wanted to print, and I finally found one, and I'm glad I did. Anyways, I wanted to share this experience with you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll have the link down there for the CG Trader. You can buy this file and print it yourself. And there's a lot of pretty cheap printers out there, resin printers, that'll do a great job, like those Elagus or the Anycubics that you can pick up for a couple $100 and print away. You know, the bigger ones will print them faster because you can print more on them, but the little ones will do fine too. You can print all these on the little ones. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. I am going to be looking for a bigger chessboard, which I'm having a hard time finding. So if any of you have any advice on where I can find a bigger chessboard, please let me know. And good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.